appreciate you coming on. I know you've had a busy day as well, so super big thanks, mate. And yeah, we've got it's just us three here, and then we've got the guys in the weight room. They'll probably fire some questions, but yeah, I'd love to get straight into it. Already sort of introduced you a little bit before you were here, but for those that aren't aware who Jordan is, Jordan Vine is a very experienced and talented strength and conditioning coach. He works out of Maidstone Weightlifting Club. Is that right? Maidstone Weightlifting Club.
No, I coach in Dartford and Harlow.
Dartford and Harlow, yeah, and obviously close with Ben Davison and a lot of his fighters as well. So Jordan's working with not just elite boxers and many fighters, but also he's working with grassroots up to pro level Olympic weightlifters as well. So yeah, I guess it would be really cool to hear just about your career as we get started. Like obviously you come from...
That'd be quick.
Yeah, well no, I mean you had just like what it taught you and how you've carried it into your work as a coach. I think
every good coach is a frustrated, failed athlete, and that is me, sadly. I was a decent weightlifter. I was never a great weightlifter. I could have done a lot better to maximise my potential. So I think for me, I've sort of taken that into my coaching about what decisions not to make and what decisions to make, I guess.
They say some of the guys are saying they can't hear you for some weird reason, but I
can't hear me.
Perfectly clear. Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Once. Jack and Phil, can you guys hear Jordan? No, I hear you fine.
Yeah.
I think it's probably... Yeah, cool. No, we're all good, yeah. It's just Enoch. That's very weird. I don't know what's happened there, Enoch.
Okay.
Sorry, mate. There we go. And how many... So, I mean, tell us a little bit what you're up to at the moment. Like, you've got... How many boxes? I couldn't even count. It's a lot.
I think I've got about 15 at the minute. 15. So... And I've been with a lot of them from the start, so they've all kind of got to the point now where they're in big fights. And I've not really got any. I've got one amateur, and then another kid's just started, to be fair. And then I've got like 2 lads at the start of the career, but everyone else is quite in depth now.
Nice. That's a lot, and I mean that alone is a lot. And then how many weightlifters have you got on top of that?
At the gym, me and my dad have got about 30. But the elite ones, but the elite ones would be maybe like 12. And I think of them, we've got 7 or 8 on GB. So
nice.
It's quite... We literally had English championships the weekend just gone. At 11.
And with that amount of athletes, are you having to do a fair bit of work online to keep track of everything as well? Like how are you sort of managing all of that?
So with the weightlifters, I do the programming. With the weightlifting, my dad's an Olympian. He went to the 98 Olympics. As a weightlifter.
Amazing. Yeah.
And he was a coach for Team GB as well. Weightlifter. So that's the background in that. Dad was my coach as a weightlifter. So I do sort of all the programming, the planning, and I guess like my dad always says I'm like the Martin O'Neill effect, where you never used to watch him train, did he? You just turn up on like game day, and I'm a little bit like that. But I'm in the gym with him a lot. Dad's more the sort of technical genius, and he's very good at coaching it and explaining it. So that's kind of how that works.
Can I just ask you, so with the 2 disciplines and 2 modalities, how do you split your time between the weightlifters and the boxers? Because that's a huge volume of athletes to manage, just on one discipline alone.
So Sunday afternoons is my day of getting into my laptop for 5-6 hours and making sure I plan and program it all perfectly. A lot of phone calls on Mondays, going over everything. So my average week would be Mondays, sort of programming, planning, staff, loads of phone calls, boxing coaches, weightlifting, loads of different calls. And then I'm in the gym coaching 4 to 8 at the weightlifting club. Tuesdays, I'm coaching S&C 8 to 8, probably. I'm doing half the day in Dartford, and then I'm doing half the day in Harlow. Wednesdays are similar to Mondays, but I usually sometimes go to Ben's on a Wednesday morning. Thursdays the same as Tuesdays. It's just 8 to 8. And then Fridays is similar to a Monday. I'm just in the weightlifting gym. And then, to be honest with you, like, I'm usually away on the weekend for a weightlifting competition or someone fighting. This weekend was a joke because I had Lee Wood fighting in Nottingham Saturday night. He keeps getting better with age, doesn't he? It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
So I had Lee Wood fighting in Nottingham, but I had the Weightlifters English Championships in Birmingham. So I actually went to Birmingham Thursday, stayed, coached, drove to Nottingham for the weigh-in, then drove back to Birmingham, coached Saturday, then drove to the fight, and then drove back to Birmingham. So I've done 800 miles from Thursday to Sunday last week. I know.
You're working.
It's something we speak about quite a lot, and this is like coaches, clinicians and stuff. It's managing burnout, like how much we give. How do you kind of like that? Because that is a lot of graft. I'm presuming that's not a completely atypical week for you. How do you kind of manage it?
You just do, because like if any of the lads are fighting or competitions have come up, like I can't go away. So I've not been on a holiday now for like 2 years. Like I've been away for work, but that's not a holiday. So I feel like, you know, when fight dates come out or weightlifting competitions come up, then that's just, you're just staying there, aren't you, really? But I do need a break. But I keep like thinking, well, that's all the fight dates done for April. And then a few of the lads have gone, I'm out in May and then I'm out in July. And there's just all starting to mount up and mount up. But weekend aways are the key, I think.
What do you think? Because obviously you're phenomenal at what you do, and like you've had some incredible results with the fighters, and we'll get into that shortly. But what does the future look like in the sense of like we all know the feeling of shit, I need to split myself in half, or maybe maybe do that again and again. I can't even imagine how that is. That's really impressive that you're managing that many athletes and doing that well. What does the future look like? You might not have an answer, but like, do you get a team of coaches? Do you end up going more into sort of a leadership position?
I tried that. I put out a thing and I had a few people come in and try and work under me. But you know, it's like for you guys, like people don't come to me for someone else. They come to me for me.
Sure.
It's quite funny. We had a few kids come to the gym and like straight out of uni, and the boys had this thing like if they can get through a circuit, then, you know, we don't mind them. And there's this one kid, I remember I thought he was all right. I won't say the boxer, but he's like, mate, he could never be my strength and conditioning coach. Look at the state of him, because he was like terrible doing this job.
Brilliant.
That's good.
I think like I've started doing, I don't agree with online programming, even though yesterday I just launched a online programming thing where I'm going to kind of like, a lot of people have asked me though, and it's like, if I can do it bespoke and personally, where they're like having contact with me on WhatsApp and I'm going over it, because I think the way I coach S&C, like, it's quite technical and it's very one-to-one. I'm not sort of just doing your basic, getting a trap bar and lift it off the floor and hope. Like, it's very in-depth, and especially Olympic lifts. Like, not many people can coach them as quick as what I can.
Yeah.
So
that's because you did it.
That's my background, yeah. Like when everyone says, it takes too long to coach, I'll coach someone Olympic lift in half hour.
Yeah. It's because you were doing it from when you were walking, right?
Yeah.
With your background in weightlifting and obviously your love for it, with the boxers that you coach, do you integrate much Ollie lifting in with the boxers at all?
Every session.
Yeah.
Every session. For me, there's not one exercise that you lift that amount of weight that quickly, engage as many fast twitch muscle fibers as that in the gym. And like everyone get away, do a landmine, or you're still getting triple extension and that. It's not the same. And I think as well, especially like a power clean, when you're receiving power snatch wide, your ligaments are getting stronger, your tendons are getting stronger, you're getting more resilient. Touch wood, none of my lads really get any niggles. There's been like one lad got injured at a track day, his hamstring, and then inside the gym, touch wood, no one's got injured ever. And like we max out on deadlifts, like sumo deadlifts on the floor. You get don't lift too heavy. It puts too much strain on your lumbar spines because you're not getting coached the correct technique. and you haven't got a coach that understands when enough's enough and when not to do it and when to push and when not to push. And I think that's like where I kind of disagree with like a structured stick to this solid program, because it don't work like that. Like you can't, not machines, you can't know how someone's going to be in 8 weeks. You don't know what their schedule is going to be or nothing. It's just sort of everything I do, like I kind of pencil it in, but nothing I do is planned, set in stone. It's all of instinct and experience. And I think that's where like sort of, I feel like I'm a little bit different to the rest.
Just on that note, Jordan, we were talking a little bit about culture in boxing. And there's this, you'll know it better than me, but the old culture in boxing where like there isn't much programming, it's working hard, it's not working the right energy systems, it's just grind. Yeah. And you're someone that I'd see as a kind of like the new guard, but in the kind of bringing some of the more evidence-based and like kind of tried and tested ways of training these fighters. Do you find there's much resistance to your way of training now, or is it kind of a bit more?
It's more so like I'd probably say through the amateurs and stuff. Like you get the coaches that have done a bit of boxing, and then the old adage you get is, don't lift weights, it'll slow you down. That's like the classic that you kind of get. Like that's the most common one, I would say. You get too stiff lifting weights, whereas like Moses Atama squats 200 for 2. He looks like he's slowing down, doesn't he? Like Sam Noakes, who boxes at 61 kilos, squats 160. He's boxing for world titles and chinning people. So it kind of goes this thing. I remember Sam actually said to me in the gym once, it's very true. He was like, I don't know anyone that's been in the sport and goes, I'd like to be 10% weaker. Everyone would like to be 10% stronger. It's just knowing how to do it that it doesn't affect you. But I do think there is some good S&C coaches about. I don't really sort of watch too much of other people because I'm just too busy. But there are coaches that I see on the circuit and speak to, and they're obviously decent because they get good results.
I wonder as well with this is a great topic because it's been the case with a lot of the fighters I've had where it's sometimes been really challenging to get them to move enough weight and the right amount of volume. But I wonder historically how much just kind of more bodybuilding and hypertrophic style training fed its way into boxing, and therefore
I hate calisthenics.
That type of training is always going to create fullness, right, and stiffness, and
I don't like calisthenics at all.
Tissue. Yeah,
I hate them. I just think there's every calisthenic exercise just there's a better replacement for it. Like everything, like I hate like dips is like for me is the worst exercise. I think we spoke about this, Rob.
I found, I'll be honest.
Like, because you're just loading the shoulder that you're just screaming to get a shoulder injury, like, and then like pull-ups.
They're already a sport that does that. I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just don't like any calisthenics. I think there's definitely better replacements, and the world has moved on since, chasing chickens and chopping trees down. Like, I think S&C's definitely moved forward since then.
You mentioned Moses Atama is one of the most exciting names in the UK at the moment. Like, he's really young and he's already phenomenal. He's got a super bright future ahead of him, and you've worked with him for a really, really long time. And I'd love to hear a little bit about if you can share any of his metrics and like how he's become the beast and the powerful, fast guy that he is now in the ring.
Yeah, I've been with him for like 6 years now. He was always genetically blessed. I can remember when he kind of first started, more the mobility side was an issue. His lower body strength was not there. I remember he squatting about 100 kilos, weighing about 105 or whatever. So he was kind of, just okay. I think it's just like slowly just improved and got better. And he's someone that loves his S&C and he's very studious with it. You've witnessed, Rob, we argue quite a bit as well about certain things. And so we're always trying to find the right solution for his training. But, I don't think from what I've seen, there's anyone that's remotely close to him physically in the heavyweight division. The weights that he does, like, I just don't see anyone doing. And it's quite funny.
What kind of numbers are we talking, man, if you can share it? I mean, you don't have to share everything, but...
He squat 200 for 2 the other day. don't really see let him loose too much on squats anymore because he's already at a ridiculous level. I mean, he's deadlifted 280 on a normal bar, proper sumo, like from the floor. Bench 175.
Yeah, he's not messing around.
Yeah, he's power cleaned. Actually, power clean 120 today, by the way, for 2. So
nice.
The injury's like non-existent now. He's in a good place.
So he's almost as strong as Rob Madden. Almost.
Close, yeah. Close.
If we come into, I guess here, so this is a really amazing little topic, which I'm really excited to hear you talk about, is getting to the crest, getting to the peak. And of all the fights that I've seen, and they were all normally lasting about 12 seconds or whatever, and we can use him as an example, but a lot of your other fighters there, you go Sam Lee at the weekend, Lee had a great performance. What for you goes in the soup bowl to create that peak? You know, let's get into a little bit about recovery and deloading, because I know, having spoken to you before, you're a big fan of ensuring these guys pull back as well, which I'm always massive on myself. How do you manage all of the moving parts?
Everyone's different, you know. Everyone's different, and I think the correct answer to it is trial and error with the fighter. Knowing like Moses, Sam. I've been with Sam for the longest. Been with Sam like 7.5 years. So we know exactly what he needs to do and when he needs to do it. And to be honest with you, if anyone saw like Sam's last few camps, not really doing a great deal anymore because we kind of got where he needs to get. And it's similar to Moses. Like, I know exactly what he needs to do, when he needs to do it. But like, a few of his camps, we've had injuries where he's had a little twinge here, a little twinge there, and you have to work around it. But in my mind, I kind of look at people and put them in a sort of barrier. So I think someone's quite like weak, like fast, and they're not got much donk on their punches and not that great physically, then I almost say to myself, I like leave it on them a little bit longer. So I leave the compounds in, I leave the heavier Olympic lifts in, and I kind of don't give them so much of a plyometrics stage to drop off. Someone like Sam, he won't lift heavy weights from about 5 weeks out. We're like he's like, I don't want to do his jumping crap. Because like we're sort of plyometrically and speed he's way in because he's ridiculous. Like, he's so strong, it's a joke. So I don't know, like really like your nan's recipe. She doesn't read from the book, does she? A bit of this, a bit of that, and just sort of how it feels, I guess.
And how does that differentiate to say, look, you guys managing these guys outside of fights, and you know a lot of them are out, you know, multiple times a year. How do you manage this sort of out of camp training?
I'll be honest with you, like everyone I've coached, like they're back in the gym on the Tuesday with me because they enjoy S&C, they enjoy coming to the gym, and they want to stay consistent.
Nice.
And I suppose they're all very hungry. They're all very ambitious. So like some of the lads that I coach at Ben's, they live in Newcastle. Like they go back home for 2 or 3 weeks. I just send them a little program, just stuff to just keep them moving, just keep everything fresh. Plus as well, I hate when they come back to me in their first week of phasing. I hate that. I hate the end of camp and the start of camp. It's so boring, isn't it, when you're just watching people just mess around with bands and jumps. It's just not a bit of me. I like the heavy stuff and the PBs and the screaming and the shouting. That's more my stuff I enjoy.
Do you feel almost then in that sense like what would be historically a GPP, a general prep phase? You almost try to never have that by making sure that they're just ticking away, and you're coming in week 1 of camp is actually like, let's move some timber, let's actually train. Yeah,
so like for instance, Sam never stops ever. He just can't stop eating out of camp, so he just gets big. But like someone like Moses, like he'll see out of camp, it'll be he can't wait because he just wants to get back in the gym and push the weights because we haven't pushed them for about 4 weeks. And he's like, right, I want to hit this, I want to hit that, I want to hit this, because these boys love training. And then I've got some other lads that if you give them a week off, they drop off so much they just can't. And also as well, I find with some of the younger lads, like, what do you need time off for? Like, you've not had a long career anyway. You can just come back in and like we do that. So they peak like for the fight night, and they just drop off. And I feel like we're forever here. Like, why can't we just keep going? Why can't we just keep improving and keep getting better? And like, I feel like when you get to the latter stages of your career, the training changes anyway. Like how I train Lee Wood to how I train some of the young amateurs and the young pros is completely different to everyone else, realistically.
Nice. This is so good. I love it. Are you tracking much, mate? Are you pretty organic with how you're monitoring your guys in terms of technology or just feel?
I kind of know in my head like what weights. If you ask me a PB of anyone, I'll be able to tell you. So I'm very hands-on. I think as a coach, I'm a bit obsessive over it. Always thinking about it. I could be somewhere and someone could be talking to me and I'll be thinking, shall I do that with him tomorrow? I just sort of get away with it. It's a bad trait, really, but you end up becoming obsessed with your work and a workaholic.
So your programming is quite reactive then, is it? You don't so much have blocks or conjugate. You kind of just go with your field organically and reactive depending on each fighter.
A lot of the time. So there was a famous racehorse trainer called Henry Cecil. Do you know horse racing? Surely.
No.
Middle class boy like you, Rob, you must know horse racing. And he used to say, one of his quotes was, "Everything I do is of instinct, nothing planned." And I've always kind of liked that quote because, for instance, 10-week camp, there you go, all there. Oh, my elbow hurts today, but I've got bench, or I've got to spar this day, so can I move this hit run? And it doesn't work. It just doesn't work with boxing. You kind of have to always, this with AJ, Rob, like he's always changing and chopping and whatever. He's always all over the place. So you kind of have to have a rough idea and then change it as and when.
Yeah.
So programming works really well for the weightlifters, but for me with the boxing, very hard. I do pre-season for rugby players. That's easy because they're just very easy to train. But the boxing is just so hard. They've got so much to do, and they cram it in a week. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. I think it's so hard to adopt a linear approach to training with a fighter because, as you say, their shit will happen. The elbow will niggle. They'll get a cough or a cold. Doug and I were talking before you got on. It's like you can't necessarily plan what might happen. And if you decide, okay, we're not going to do any plyo or power or reactive work in the first 3 weeks, we're going to leave that till the middling part of the camp in a more linear fashion. Okay, GPP, hypertrophy, strength, power, deload.
Mate, that's literally how I phase it. I literally start strength, push really hard, power. I like to call it like light power, and then speed with your plyos and jump. That's how I phase it off. And then if someone's like ridiculously like strong, like a Sam or a Moses, then like they will drop off quicker than the lads that need to get stronger and get more powerful. I leave it on.
Cool. So you have that. Go on. Sorry, Rob.
Where I was going with it, Jordan, as well, was do you inject some of that power work early as well, just in case something comes up in the later phases and they lose some of that ground time?
I like to sort of do, so in the start, like say for instance, I'm doing like squats, I'll do squats, but I do like some plyo warm-ups just to fire everything up for the squats and then maybe finish off max box jumps after the squats. Then once the squats drop down a little bit, I'll bring in the Olympic lifts, start ramming them right up. And then I'll drop the Olympic lifts down to say they're doing like 70% for fives or something. And when the squats come down even more, and they're light squats now, I'll ramp them right up to maxing them out. So that's kind of how I sort of phase it. So I phase it down here, up here, and then I'll go this side, and then I'll phase it, like that, and just kind of take it over like that in my head. So there's a method to my madness. Well, I've just been completely blagging it for 7 years.
It's working whenever. It's really interesting because I find this the art of it, right? Because it's S&C, and I think the whole culture now is shifting towards this really science led, and it's kind of the needle's almost we're swinging too far one way, and you're getting blinded by the science,
Yeah.
and the art is somewhat forgotten. And what you're in is you're in such a real world situation where the athletes that you deal with, it's bad enough. Like if you've got someone working for aesthetics, right? A pure bodybuilder, it's just volume, and they've got really clear blocks and microcycles you can plan out, and you're just playing around with volume and intensity. Even that kind of planned out, simple training always comes off the rails. And that's so straightforward. Whereas if you've got an athlete that you're dealing with, there's so many things to cover and do. It's like you have to have that element of
Show me something more
reactivity.
basic. Show me something more basic, boring, and talented than bodybuilding. I can't get my head around it. I can't stand them in the gym. Do like little tricep curls, like not for me. But I agree with everything you said there. It's not the same at all.
Yeah, it's a completely different
training.
art form. Yeah.
But like I have it with a rugby. Like when the lads come in for pre-season, like I won't say who it is because it's just ag. But he come in a few times. He was like, "Oh, my back spasmed a bit," and I was like, "Mate, you'll be fine." And then I'm like listening to this physio is telling, "Oh, you can't do this, you can't do that." And I was like, what has this physio done? He's like, "Oh, I work for the NHS." And I was like, "They ever played sport?" No, like, how am I taking advice on like someone that's never done it or understood it or really gets what you're doing? But they, like you say, it's like, well, sports science in this tells me I can't do this in 2 to 3 weeks, and it is ridiculous. And that's why I liked Rob when we brought Moses to him, because it was like I felt like he was sort of, I don't know, it's perfect. It's similar to how I work in a sense.
I think
Just a lot more professional with you, Rob.
Appreciate it, mate. With physios, and this isn't there are a lot of phenomenal physios out there and osteopaths. As an industry, though, at the whole, like loosely, I would say maybe 50% of it still is just chronically underloading. Like they have, not only do they underload because they haven't got the experience, but they also have no idea what putting that type of stress on the body is. So
Yeah.
it's really a massive.
If it's actually
issue.
2 weeks, just take 4 off. You'll definitely be all right.
Yeah.
All the time.
Exactly. Underloading tissues that need a shitload of stimulus to get better. Like hamstrings is a good one, because hamstrings are so robust. Even if you've got grade 1 or grade 2 acutely, past a couple of days, you can start loading the hell out of it. And all of the work from Derek Hansen in the US has showed that you can really be so aggressive on a hamstring. But again, you might have physios out there doing like body weight bridges for like 2 weeks. Like that. And the goal of the client is to sprint in like 6 weeks. You're like, well, you better fucking start loading it up, because bridge ain't going to do it, is it? I've got a couple of questions from a couple of guys, mate. Going back to what you were saying about the camp, would you classify what you do to an extent as block periodization, or how would you define it if you were to?
It's really like, it's just so different for everyone. It's so different for everyone. And like when I start working with anyone, the initial first camp, second camp, I feel like I'm still learning about them. And it's just complete trial and error. Is this
There's another question, mate.
Oh yeah, I didn't see it come up.
This is a new one.
I feel like it's sort of, if you sort of like block it, strength first, like building a house, in a sense that you're getting your strong compounds in. Because when you see people, they start like speed and power work at the start, they've not done a strength phase. I feel like, well, what are you really going to get out of doing that? It's like putting an elastic band with no real pullback. Like I feel like you've got to do a strength phase and a power phase, then go into speed phase, then get the full effect of actually improving. Don't really know if that
makes sense. No, that's perfect. That makes sense. Another one here. I know you said you don't follow the industry that much, but you're clearly very good at the work you do. I know a lot of the guys. What is something that can be replicated by other coaches that you think makes you stand out?
The Olympic lifts, I think, makes me stand out because I just think they're so crucial for what we do. And like I said, for building explosive power, I don't think there's anything that matches it, in my opinion. And not worrying about pushing PBs and pushing hard, but like learning the techniques. Like obviously, like I don't just get someone in and go, right, let's see what you're made of. Like we learn the techniques and I make sure they can do it safely and then push. Also as well, like, don't think anyone's as dedicated as me and as available as me and as hands-on as me. For me, it's like the lads that I coach that I'm incredibly close to, and I know that sometimes it doesn't work, but I think people like me being around, and to a degree, to like I'm booking a lot of the lads' physio stuff, as you know, Rob, the massages, and I kind of know I'm a good delegator as well, I guess. When something's like I'm not really sure at, I'll find someone that is sure, and then I'll be a sponge and learn off them. And I feel like a lot of people nowadays, they are so worried about not being the expert, but none of us are the expert. You've got to learn and improve every day. I know everything about biceps now because my mate Rob told me.
Have you made pretty much all of your athletes love the gym? Because I'll be honest,
environment's crucial. So
yeah,
when I was first kind of doing it, it was like everyone wanted to train on their own. It's boring because the difference is they're used to 30 seconds or a minute and go from boxing. That sort of so it's quite quick, whatever. But obviously, when you're doing heavy squats, you want 3 to 5 minutes rest. You sit there. And there's only so much sort of chat you can have with someone. They might be cutting weight or they might have sparred shit or whatever, and they kind of don't want to chat. For me, especially in Dartford, where I train, I kind of get 2 or 3 in a session, and it creates that environment. And I always have an overlap, so people see each other and have a chat. And environment's key. Environment's key, and we know that when you're training on your own in your garage or something, you're never going to do anything. Environment is key, massively important.
Yeah, 100%. Nice. Another question here, talking of weight management. Yeah, what does fight week look like, and any best tips for energy management with your athletes cutting weight?
I'll just send that straight to the nutritionist.
Yeah.
Cole Evans works with a lot of my fighters, and Paul O'Neill. He works with the other half of the fighters, really. Pretty sure they do all of my fighters, yes. With the lads, I like to do, like Moses will train with me fight week. That's once again, like that is not planned. Like he's training me sometimes. He wanted to do a little session on the day of the fight. Like just because he feels like he wants to just move a little bit. Or other weeks we've just trained like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday and then stopped and literally just go off feel. Like when he boxed Dillian, no, he didn't. When he boxed that Dempsey McKean, we trained on the fight day, done like a little bit. He felt like he wanted to do a few ISOs and plymos. So just literally off feel, which is mad. But I like the lads doing something on like Monday or Tuesday. Just like, I say like when you bite into an apple and leave it on the side, it just goes off. So I like the lads to work their muscles a little bit so you get that breakdown and replenish, and then their muscles are fresh going into the fight. But they'll do a lot of like retraction work, a lot of stuff towards them, little bit of plymos, and I just literally just think about the body. So I start with some pogos and some lateral pogos, then maybe a bit of balls, bit of single arm balls, bit of boxing stances, that's what I call them, like the single arm retraction, bit of face pull, bit of low rows. And just sometimes, like, some of the boys have got little things they like doing. Moses likes doing a hip run on his fight week. Sam Loach always likes finishing off with a little bit of bench, which, like, sometimes I feel like you've got to kind of give a little bit, get a little bit, I guess.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I heard a really nice phrase in someone's program, positive poisoning, and it's like even though it's not 100% scientifically specific to what they're trying
Yeah,
to do, because it's important for them and their mindset and they
agree.
enjoy
Yeah,
it. You've got to give them a little bit so they give a bit more in the other things as well. So it's interesting to hear that.
I hate old school apps, but Moses likes doing them. So I used to row with him, and like he likes doing them, but he won't do them in front of me, and I just won't watch him do them. So I just kind of just let him do his
Do
own
it.
thing. Yeah.
What about
With,
energy systems? Sorry, Rob. The energy systems. We've talked a lot about and the strength and the power and the speed stuff. Do you much energy systems work, or is that mainly in the ring?
I think I've spoke to Rob about this before. Like, I think you get so much just from your spars, your heavy bags, and like I don't think like fitness like sort of goes into other sports. You can get the fittest run in the world, get them hit a bag for 2 minutes, they'll be blowing, and vice versa. You can put a boxer and you put a rower in that are really fit. So sometimes I think boxers probably run too much. They worry about the engine on the running machine or whatever. And I actually think some of the fittest boxers are the ones that are better at the bag circuit. They spar the most. And I to be honest with you, I prefer assault bikes than hit runs, which is probably controversial.
Yeah, no, it's good. Yeah, you'll shy away from the old school kind of go out for long run stuff. It will be mainly in the
Even though you're road
bags.
running, even though your road runs, very knees
got
left.
a pretty good question here coming up. See if we can get it up on there. I'm going to read out because you won't probably see all of it. Hey mate, with my fighters, so Philip, he coaches Masood and a few young.
He's always down Ben sparring, Masood.
Yeah, he's a good lad. So he's implemented hand cleans, triple extension focus, trapod lifts, push press jerks into his fighters programming. Do you feel most of the gains for your lads comes from the ollie lifts, or does it come from the initial pull phase? Or am I correct that doing partial range of motion with my fighters is less actually more in that regard?
Full motion, always. Like the hang cleans are good, but I like to finish off with the hang cleans. So I would finish a camp with the hang cleans, like, because you're sort of like the way I see it is you're taking away that full range of movement, and you're moving that bar that much further and faster. But I like to finish off with the hang cleans. So like I should have said earlier, like my friend Andre actually coached Beterbiev, and he's an Olympic weightlifter. He was for Poland. He lives in Canada now, and he trains like Beterbiev. He actually changed that Magnum off or whatever his name is as well. And I spoke to him a lot like when I first started off. And one of my friends is a weightlifting coach, knew him well and put me in touch with him. I learned a lot from him, and he loved to finish. Beterbiev, when he boxed Bivol, done hang cleans that morning on fight day. Done hang cleans. Mad that, innit? I've not tried that yet. I've not been brave enough, but that's what he done with Beterbiev. Morning of the fight, hang cleans. I don't know. That's the most Soviet thing I've ever heard. That's what he told me. I remember he's walking to the gym. I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "Oh, training." I said, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, just some weights, some hang cleans." I was like, "What?" He's fighting tonight.
Right, well, we're coming up to, actually, that was super quick. We're coming up to the end. You're going to get cut off on the live stream anyway. I'm just going to finish off just to say a massive thanks, mate. I know you've had a probably crazy long day, and yeah, we're super grateful. Shitloads of nuggets and gems there, mate, and some really, really good chats. For the guys that aren't following you, I think pretty much everyone probably is, but where can they find you to follow you and get in touch and stuff?
Just my Instagram.
Yeah. And what's your Instagram? I mean, what is it?
Jordan William Vine. Bad name,
Easy.
that, isn't it? Bad name.
Amazing. All right.